order. Clerk, the roll call, please.
Salvia.
Here.
Vixen.
Here.
Hauser. Jones.
Here.
King.
Here.
Sage.
Here.
Trent.
Here. Thank you. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Well, it's a balmy 35 out there today. I think an awful lot of ice and snow melted. Felt really good. And it's good that it's the end of February. We're turning the corner into March. So good evening, and we'll first start off tonight with any public comment for anything that is not on our agenda this evening. Do we have any public comment call-in for anyone who is on the Zoom?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not seeing any hands raised at this time.
Great, thank you, Brian. All right, moving on to our consent agenda. We have a number of items on the consent agenda tonight. We have several minutes. We have minutes from the Joint Planning Commission and City Council meeting from January 23rd. We have the City Council meeting February 10th and the special budget workshop after regular meeting of February 10th. Item B, we have the Detroit Dock Sound Club Walk fundraiser. This is a first-time event. Item C, we have consideration to approve the Knights of Columbus Tootsie Roll Drive. Item D, we have consideration to approve the Farmers Market season for 2025. Item E, consideration to approve the Movies in the Moonlight event and calendar. Item F, consideration to approve Rock and Rods. Item G, to approve the St. Baldrick's Festival. And item H, the check register report. So, Council, do we have any motions or any other?
Motion
Counselor
to
Singh?
consider the consent agenda as presented.
Thank you. Motion is presented.
I support.
Support by Jones. Perhaps, I see Christie here, perhaps we want to have some discussion on this so we can talk about what's happening with the farmer's market?
We could do that if you approve it, and then she could
Oh,
explain
after
it.
we approve it? Okay, all right. So, Madam Clerk, the roll call, please.
Salvia.
Yes.
Vixen.
Yes.
Jones.
Yes.
King.
Yes.
Sage.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you. So as a matter of clarification, I thought we were supposed to have a motion, then deliberation
Oh, I mean, you
before the
could.
vote.
Oh, I thought you were going for it
Okay.
anyway, so I was just going to have to
Thank you.
explain what it is after.
Okay,
So,
thank
but
you.
you're right, yep.
You can always change your minds.
We just want to hear about the market.
Yeah, sure. So in your packet, you may notice that we usually don't come here for approval to begin the farmer's market season because it's always been on the DDA's property. But our current situation is that we are not going to be hosting it on DDA property. So working with Nick and Chief George, when we were going through our process, and I know Marilyn's going to give a little bit of an update on what's happening with the Graham, and I'm certainly happy to answer any questions with that. But what we've been finding is that for the construction timeline, that we've heard from both AEW and Rewald, that if we were able to vacate the lot on Saturdays, that would speed things along so they don't have to, at the end of the week, move things around, all those kinds of things. So having said that, like I said, we talked with Nick and we talked with Chief George, and they gave us a few options, reviewed everything, and we are looking at the east parking platform, the upper level. Anyone who was around, I'm looking at Steve and I'm looking at Stuart. When we built those, you may recall that we built them specifically to host events so that they were engineered to hold people, because apparently engineering a structure to hold people versus cars is different. And so we did confirm, Nick went back into the records and was able to find that, yes, that is exactly what happened. We also have electrical and water service already over there, which is two things that we need to run the market. So that's also why it made it desirable. And it's also usually on Saturdays, not super well parked during the mornings. We would be coming in around 5 a.m., between 5 and 7 is when all our vendors come to set up. So it would have little impact on the residential because there's hardly any around there. There's only the one house right across the street. So we thought that that would be a good place, and then also it might drive some revenue into the lower level. In addition to that, going to the secondary item, if we can't host the farmer's market there, we're not going to be able to host Movies in the Moonlight there either. So we were requesting to be able to do the movies there as well. We have used this structure as a event space during COVID. We did Thursday night markets up there, if anyone recalls those, and those were well received. And it's funny, when you're up there, you don't realize how big that space is. It's a very large space. The space that we're currently programming at the farmer's market is about 88 spaces, and the upper deck has over 100 spaces for us. So we'll certainly fit that, plus our portable restrooms and our hot and cold running water and all that good stuff.
Great. So the long and short of it is, the top of the east deck is where this summer we're going to have the farmer's market and movies in the moonlight.
Correct.
And so we'll have signage directing people?
Yes, and that was the other thing, because it's right down East Street. It's going to be easy if someone has not heard through all the wonderful marketing that we're going to do to inform people, that if they do end up somehow at the existing farmer's market site, we can literally have a sign that just says, go that way. Thought that might be the easiest. We held back on putting in for the Halloween Fest, because that is toward the end of October, so we're a little optimistic that we might still be able to be back in our old home, so we're gonna see, but you might see that shortly.
Great. Thank you. Any other questions? Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Chris, I do see that you just walked in, Council Chambers. We just approved the consent agenda, including the St. Baldrick's Festival. Would you like to say anything?
Does anyone have any questions?
If you could please approach and tell us your name and address.
Hi, my name is Chris Backus, represent the Rochester Corner Bar and Ernie's on the Creek. We're excited to do this fundraiser for the third year. We raised almost 50 grand last year for the charity. It's a feel-good charity. It's obviously for children. It's something that we're kind of putting our mark on and want to continue to do for many years to come to the city. We didn't really want to, we want to kind of separate ourselves from St. Patrick's Day a touch, although it's a St. Patrick's Day themed fundraiser and charity. That's why we wanted to do it on a Sunday. And, taking that, a smaller space and just trying to make it between the Roxy and us, making it one large fundraiser, one large party where we'd have the ability to go back and forth with alcohol and try to contain it in that area between the two buildings. As far as then we'd be taking that down as soon as possible. Hopefully Monday morning. Anything that we have set up, we'd be taken down by Monday morning. So it'd be clear. The street would be free for St. Patrick's Day. We're excited about doing the event. I want to make sure that us closing that area down, I think it's pretty clear in the drawing what we plan on doing. If there's any problem with that or any questions about that.
Nope, I know Chief George has reviewed this, and I know when we shut down that portion of the street for the Kringle Market, I asked him specifically, we had no issues, it worked well, so I think that's why he was okay with this.
I do have a question about the sidewalk. Is that something that we can cross with barricades, or do we need to leave one of those? Because there's two sidewalks that go around the little park, so to speak.
If one of them's open, we'll be okay.
So keep one of them open. That's what I assumed. Okay, we can do that. So we'd have a small space between, a 4-foot space between our gate and the event space.
Yeah, so people can still access the parking structure, but the tent will be there and it'll be barricaded for safety reasons.
Okay, so what about on the other side? We're hoping we don't need a tent, weather permitting, but if we do, it's going to be kind of a game time decision. So as far as the other side where Glenn is,
You'd have to keep a sidewalk in front so people could go up and down.
okay, so we'd keep it open. Let's barricade beforehand and then have an entranceway into his facility. Okay?
Okay? Counselor Jones?
Oh, good.
So I guess this might be for city manager. So with alcohol being on the street there, was there any special accommodations legally we have to make that there's drinking on the streets?
Yeah, the Chief George did that, so they have to have fence off the certain areas, have it all signed and secured so that non-21-year-olds, I guess, can go in there. So, yeah, he took care of that already. So it's
So
in the
will people
drawing.
Like we do for the Kringle Market.
Exactly.
Except the Kringle Market's in one little
Right,
tent
but
where
they,
this
yeah,
is
they
out
have
on
to
the
seal it
streets.
off to make sure the alcohol stays within that area.
So the alcohol would be between that area, it would be going between the two facilities. So it'd be one large lengthy event, I guess. But just if I could elaborate a little bit on that. After the meeting tonight, I get evidence of the approval, of the approval with minutes from tonight's meeting. I send that to Liquor Control. with a permit, that, chief has already signed off on. And then that way they know we get a one-day special, event permit. So it's all above board.
That's the answer I wanted.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right?
Thank you. And last year you raised $50,000?
Almost 50 grand. Yeah,
All right.
A little shy.
Can't wait to hear how much you do this year.
And Mayor,
Hopefully we top it.
so
Yep.
Councilman Sage and Councilwoman Jones said they would shave their head this year as part of
Anything for a good cause,
What's
right?
to that? Nick's right behind you, right?
right behind
That beautiful head of hair, come on. Is there anything else?
No.
Good? Good job.
Thank you.
so
Thank you
much.
for being here. Thank you for all you do for the community.
Thank you very much.
All right, moving on to item 6, old or tabled business. We have none. We have no public hearings. We have no legislative deliberation. We have reports and regular business. Item A, consideration of a resolution regarding the Compensation Commission decision. So I know the Compensation Commission has met. They have, in our packet, we have 2 resolutions. I believe the commissioner of the Compensation Commission, or the president, I think that's the title, is here, the chair. So, City Attorney, do you want to address this first, or do we want the chair to speak?
I'll go ahead and open it up.
Okay.
Just for procedure purposes. So, yeah, so as we've been talking the last couple or several months, the procedure is that the Compensation Commission meets, and then within 30 days of their decision, then City Council has the opportunity within that 30-day period to reject that determination or not. And so at the February 6th, that's why it's up for today, we introduced it through reports last meeting, and this meeting would be your last meeting before the 30 days expires. So there's, at the meeting, there was discussion, and there was a determination that for the yearly, I'll call it a stipend, the mayor would get $2,000 per year, the mayor pro tem $1,800 per year, and city council members $1,600 per year. And it currently gets paid quarterly, and that was workable with the Compensation Commission as well. Considering it was a flat fee structure, there's no longer a need for a per meeting payment, since it's based on a per year. And so that was the decision of the Compensation Commission. And there was discussion regarding the Planning Commission. That's the only other city board where a city council member would receive compensation. And so that was determined that would be, whatever happens with that board is not impacted by the decision of this Compensation Commission. So city council, you don't actually have to do anything tonight. You can take no action. If you take no action, then the determination of the Compensation Commission is implemented in that 30th day. But you will see that there's 2 resolutions that I put in the packet. Sometimes it's better to have kind of a document in place for, because I know when this was looked at, for this one, people were like, okay, let's pull minutes and figure out what happened at the previous one. So I took a look and actually put 2 resolutions in the packet if city council wanted to proceed with either of those. Both of them are nearly identical, setting up the stage for the decision, sets forth the decision. One resolution simply says, well, we receive the determination and we do not reject it, we being the city council, and the other one rejects it. So if there's 2/3 vote by city council to reject, then if you recall, the current structure would then stay in place. It's not a redetermination, or it doesn't get sent back. City council doesn't adjust the numbers if it wishes to do so. It's simply a reject or not reject. So with that, the Compensation Commission did select a chair, and I know there's 2 Michaels, so I wanted to make sure I said the right Michael. Mackins, thank you. So the chairperson is here in the audience to take any questions, or if he has any comments, to do that as well.
I think I'd appreciate to hear from the commission. We've asked you all to do a job, so we'd like to hear
Yeah, I
from you.
was voluntold, yeah. I understand how that works.
Yep.
And I was king for the day, but it's one day only and it's over, so thank you. So Mike Mackins, 414 West 3rd Street, been a resident here for 35 years. Just to give you a little bit of background on where we were thinking and where the logic of things were going. So we were provided with, all the way back to 2013, any adjustments to pay or anything that was voted on by city council at the time. And we're also giving a survey that showed about 10 communities in the area and what the pay for council and mayor was and how that worked. So a couple of observations from that. After reviewing the pay structure, it's clear no one in council is here to make money. It's not a job that pays very much, and clearly thank you for your service because you're doing it to take care of the community and it means something to you or you wouldn't be here. So thank you very much for that. There was in fact a pay decrease that was proposed by the committee and voted on in the council in 2018. Not even sure if this was noticed, but there used to be a maximum number of meetings from 33, that were 33 meetings. And by council vote, it was reduced to 24 at that time. And if we looked at city council, mayor pro tem salaries across the region, the Metro Detroit region, it's all over the map. So in some cities, it's basically zero if you're a council person in Grosse Pointe. It is $5 in Birmingham, and on the higher end, it's about $170 per meeting in Baltimore, New Baltimore. And Rochester Hills seems like a good place to be city council. It's almost $300 a meeting. So the average pay, if you looked at it across the region, is about $65 to $70 per meeting. If you take a look at some of that confusing math inside of that survey, we just tried to kind of figure out an average to see where we were. The other thing is inside of that is the planning commission pay structure is not included in that. And that's because as people come with permits, they are actually paying for those permits, and that's what pays the salary. So it's not coming out of a city budget. So after discussing that, we tried to look at how do we do this to simplify things and to clarify things, because there were some things that seemed like they were a little potentially misaligned, or just over time the way it changed. It changed in a couple of different ways. One was we proposed eliminating the administrative burden of reporting the number of meetings attended. We also basically looked at setting a fixed compensation regardless of the number of meetings, which also gave both council and the city some understanding of where the compensation would be. And we also proposed to continue with the quarterly, but we also talked about the idea of semi-annually or annually, whatever's easiest for the city administration, to not have the burden of basically keeping time cards and writing multiple checks. There was also a discussion that there's a way that you can also vote as well. I've heard some of you at times say that, this isn't something that you even want to get paid for. So there is going to be an option or a discussion to have about potentially opting out of that. So with that said, the recommendation was $2,000 per year for the mayor, $1,800 for mayor pro tem, $1,600 for city council, and effectively that is somewhere between a 11 and 17% increase from where the current compensation was at the time. So open to any questions?
Thank you. I'm just going to say thank you to you and the commission. We asked you to do a job, and so I appreciate that you guys met, you gathered in a timely fashion, and it sounds like you had a lot of good discussion.
Sure.
And looked at all the data. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you, and I thank all the other fellow members as well. It was a very efficient meeting and kind of one and done.
Great. Councilor Trent.
Yeah, I too. I spoke with Mike, and I've known him for, well, I don't think all 35 years, but
Close.
a good portion, but do appreciate everything you did, and glad that you made it efficient and it wasn't the 15 meetings I heard that you could have.
Yeah, there were 15
in 45
meetings
days.
you could have within 45
Yes,
days. I think we walked in and said, let's try to do this in 2, and then it worked out that it was
well,
1.
thank you and the committee for your work.
Okay.
So council, we have before us, we've heard the recommendation, so we can make a motion, or we can do nothing. Counselor King.
Thank you. I want to ask a clarifying question of city manager and city attorney. On here, I think there was a kind of the exclusion for the planning commission. I believe as it is today, though, there are 2 or 3 other committees, so 4 in total, that do pay both city council members and members
There's
of
no
the
council
community.
members on any of the other ones. just the planning
Trailways,
commission.
Trailways.
Trailways is in
They
the
don't
city, well, it's not a city body
Yeah,
either.
it's a separate.
It's-
Oh,
But
yeah,
the city
it's
supports
ours.
the Paint Creek Trailways, and they pay.
It's not a budget item
Yeah,
in
it's
the
not,
city.
but they pay it out of that. So that is a paid position for a city council member. And so is the board of review, and so is zoning, and so is planning.
There's no
The city
council
council
members on
members
there. No council members on those.
On zoning, so we're paying citizens. Okay?
Okay, so
Thank you.
we've clarified that in terms of what boards and commissions are compensated. Okay. Counselor King?
Oh, I think Marilyn had a question.
No, please.
You still had the floor.
please.
You still had the floor.
You still have the floor.
Okay. Well, we talked a lot, and I understand there were some differing opinions, and I think some good arguments were made. But I think, we all got into this for, the idea of giving back to our communities. We obviously all care deeply for our communities. I think we asked this committee to do their job, and they did, and I think they were very thoughtful about it. So I would support this resolution. It's not a significant increase. I think it was maybe like $6 a meeting or so. I know the argument was made that maybe more people would want to get involved or have the opportunity to. Maybe not everybody is in the position to volunteer their time, and I do respect that. But, we do operate with a limited budget, and I think there's been enough people. Quite a few people put their name in, when there was open vacancy back in December, so I think or January. So there's still, I think a lot of interest and people willing to do it. If that changes in the future, then I would think we should, push the committee to take a new look at it. But I would support it as they've made the recommendation to do so.
So that's a motion to not reject the determination.
Yes, I think there's a resolution accepting the recommendation.
With,
You wrote-
not a,
It's written in,
Not objecting.
it's written in legal terms, my favorite.
right backwards.
Is it backwards? So
Yes.
you want to not reject their determination. Okay, so we have a motion. Counsel.
I will support that. I do like the fixed compensation. I like the idea of the thoughtfulness of less bookkeeping for our accounting department and then not the burden of to keep time cards. Yeah, I am for it. I was for adding additional compensation for the committees, but I accept we asked this commission to do their job. They did it, and doesn't mean you have to agree with everything. So I appreciate it again, and I would support it.
Okay, so we have a motion and support. Any other discussion by council?
So a couple thoughts on this. First off, for us to say that we didn't do this for financial reasons is very obvious. I didn't even know that I was paid at all until I was elected and getting involved in the administrative stuff. I never wanted an increase on my monthly or my twice-a-month meetings here. I didn't expect an increase for that. I was feeling that it should be I'm all about fairness, all or nothing. I did think there were other committees. I know Trailway is paid for the council person. I know it's out of their budget, which Rochester supports that budget, and planning. So it doesn't seem fair to me that anyone is getting paid on any of the boards or commissions. And then secondly, I just think what really even made me think about it, and you did make this point, is I sit on 2 or 3 committees with Rochester Hills City Council people, and sitting next to them doing the exact same job, and they're getting paid, and we're not getting paid, felt like a level of disrespect for what we do. So that's really where I originally thought that this isn't, I'm not going to buy a car by getting paid for meetings, but I am going to be respected in a different way. And so I would definitely not support this. I didn't ask for an increase on the city council meetings. I don't need an increase on that. So I would not support this.
Any other discussion? And just to clarify, clerk, I know if we were to reject it, we needed we would need a majority vote. But since this is accepting, it's just a normal 4 to pass it.
You would need, if I'm sorry, if I may, it's a 2/3 vote to reject it.
Okay.
But to pass the one that Councilmember King did would just take 4.
Just take 4. Thank you. Thank you for clarifying. City Clerk, the roll call, please.
Salvia,
Yes.
Vixen,
No.
Jones,
No.
King,
Yes.
Sage,
No.
Trent.
Yes.
Motion fails. So do we need another vote to reject it, or it's just, it fails and it's in essence, we did nothing?
Correct. There's no further action. You didn't need to take the action you just tried to do. You don't have to take another one. It's just a failure to reject at this point, and so the current structure stays in place.
Current structure stays.
Thank you.
I thank you, Compensation Committee. Thank you for your work, and you've heard the discussion. Thank you. Okay, moving on. Moving on to item B, which is consideration for an easement agreement. This is regarding 339 East Street. City Attorney.
Yes, thank you. Before you today is an easement agreement for the property that the mayor just mentioned, 339 East Street. This property received site plan approval from Planning Commission to do the project, and as part of the approval for this project, the Planning Commission had expressed interest, in fact, turned it into a requirement to put in some planter boxes along the two sides of the building for planters. And the issue is why it's before the city council is that those planters, they were 18 inches deep, and so that would push it into the city's right-of-way, into the sidewalk. And so since it's going to be encroaching into the city's sidewalk by no more than 18 inches, the city would have to grant them an easement, and that was one of the conditions of approval for that project. In the packet is an easement agreement that I've prepared. They have, the property owner has already executed it as we'd requested, so it'd be ready for today if city council moves forward with it. There includes insurance requirements, indemnification requirements, and a requirement to keep the sidewalk at least 5 feet in width, which is the city standard. So if city council wishes to move forward with the easement, that would be requirement, or the request would be to authorize city manager to execute it. And then I would then record it with the Oakland County Register of Deeds, so the world would know that they have this requirement, or that we've given them, and what the terms are of that easement.
Thank you. Any questions? Council, any motions?
Motion to accept the easement agreement as presented.
Motion by Sage,
I'll support.
support by Trent. Any other discussion? City Clerk, the roll call, please.
Salvia,
Yes.
Vixen,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Sage.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. Next, we're moving on to item C, this is the confirmation of the mayoral appointment to the Planning Commission. At our previous meeting, I nominated David Harden. Council has had the opportunity to deliberate on this. So now I believe the action we're looking for is a motion to confirm that appointment. Councilor Trent?
Yes, I had the pleasure of speaking with David Harden today, and I was impressed with his knowledge on his architectural background as a trained architect, but is also in the building and construction industry, and his expertise in that. So I would make a motion to confirm the mayoral appointment to the Planning Commission.
Okay, motion by Trent, support by Sage. Any other discussion? City Clerk, the roll call.
Salvia,
Yes.
Vixen,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
King,
Yes.
Sage.
Yes.
Trent.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes. So I'm assuming, City Clerk, you reach out to David Harden and let him know he will be joining us at the March 3rd Planning Commission.
Onboarded.
Yeah.
That would be great.
Yes.
And I believe also with new planning commissioners, we have a training session, so if we could make sure that that gets scheduled as well. Thank you. Okay, moving on to item 10, reports from various boards and commissions. Council, we are cruising tonight.
I know, I just looked at the clock. I'm like,
We're cruising. All right. Receipt from the Cemetery Committee.
All
Counselor
right.
Jones, tell us what is happening in the cemetery.
Exciting stuff in the cemetery. We met on 2/11, and some of the things that are going on and will be going on in the spring, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Nick, is that we are getting rid of a kind of a road, and we are going to make it a spot for new monuments because we are out of monuments in the cemetery. So when that's completed, they're working on a pole they need to get rid of right now. We will add 75 to 80 monuments, so that will help us to bring more funding into the cemetery. And then we are also working on cleaning the headstones. The Daughters of the American Revolution have been very involved with us on that. There is going to be a 250th anniversary next year of the Revolution, and we want to have them nice and clean for that because we're going to have a big event in the cemetery for that. And we're kind of tagging on also with the historical group, and I think that's it.
Yes, America 250. It's going to be a
It's a
big
big
year
deal.
next year. Very big deal. Yep.
So the area we speak of is there at the end of that other entrance?
In the corner.
Okay, so we would take, so the gate would be removed, the buildings would be removed?
No,
No, you're at the wrong
yeah,
side.
no, it's almost next to the road that goes to Third Street.
okay.
So, yeah, it's that first one in there.
And it really served no purpose. It was kind of a road to nowhere. So this is a great use of the cemetery grounds to be able to add more monuments, so.
Excellent.
That's it.
Anything else cemetery-wise? Okay. All right. Moving on to Paint Creek Trailways Commission.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Two updates. First being the website will finally be replaced after 3 years of deliberation. That should go live in March. And then on a sad note, the trail manager tendered his resignation at the last meeting. So we are in active pursuit of a new trail manager. And I know it has been posted multiple places, and hoping that we can do that as well on I think the other municipalities are doing the same. Thank you.
It seems like that'd be a nice job.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful trail, being a manager, and it pays a decent salary, too.
So, and that's a good point. So it's 24 hours a week. It's a part-time job. It pays between $25 and $30 an hour.
I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that love our trails that could do a great job there. So look forward to see what happens there. All right, moving on, the next item is a report from the Rochester Community House. This is mine. I'm on this board. The Community House met on February 18th. Really reporting through financials of 2024. They were close to their record of annual, revenues coming in between classes and rentals at $350,000. Of course, they're all waiting to hear from the state of Michigan in terms of, when will the funds be released. They will be coming before Planning Commission with the revised drawings. And I do think it's important for council to be aware that both the city and the community house have spent money on drawings for this revision of the community house. So at some point in time, we're probably going to have some conversation on, the city has paid money, the community house as an entity has paid money. So as we're finalizing that, we will probably have some discussion about that. And that, Yeah.
So I don't know, it's a question for Nick.
I don't know.
What if the money doesn't come?
We need the drawings, but that's about it. We wouldn't be able to go forward.
Oh, you have.
I think we would have to evaluate at that time. And we have money in the budget for, we bonded for it, for the basement. In my opinion, it would be, we'd put us back in the same place we were at before we heard from the state we were going to get money.
We'd have to have another discussion.
We would have another discussion, absolutely, absolutely.
And are we not going to spend money, Nick, until?
Yeah, I mean,
We haven't.
everybody's done and spent, yeah,
Yeah,
there's
that's
no
right,
money
yeah.
spent, yeah.
Okay.
We're just waiting to hear.
Yep.
Thank you.
Hi.
Council Trent?
Yeah, I know that they've done through some architectural plans, several iterations.
Yeah.
And I know that cost. So what do you mean by we'll have a conversation? Is there some sort of, about the second and third, I think? Or I don't know how many iterations of architectural drawings have been paid for.
I think the city has paid for 2, and I think Community House has paid for 2. So I think when we get to the place where we have an approved site plan, it has to come back before council to approve any contract. So I think it should be part of that conversation.
Like, oh, that there's been 4 architectural drawings, you mean?
4 architectural drawings, 2 paid for the
I see.
city, 2 paid for the Community House. Out of what budget item should
Okay, I see.
those funds be accrued?
Okay,
Um,
well, I
you know,
appreciate that.
I just really want some transparency
I like
around
that. Mm-hmm.
it, that both of these events have happened. I mean, this has stretched over, I don't know, Mayor Pro Tem, how many years? 8, 7?
Forever.
Forever. So, and again, you know, I spoke with Mike Weber last week, myself personally, and his comment was he'd check into it, but he felt like it was just general government slowness. Nothing else, no agenda. He hadn't heard anything bad. So, again, we're not making any big public comments about this yet because we haven't seen the money, but I haven't heard anything negative.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. I think that is all for our reports from various boards and commissions.
One more.
DDA, I glazed right over
That's
it.
okay.
Counselor Trent.
I sidelined
There was a
you.
lot of events, lots of
Yes,
things
there
happened at that
was.
one.
There is, that was, yes, we had a lot of things to talk about or they did at the DDA meeting on February 19th. They talked about, as Christy Trevorrow had said, the Market and Graham update, which was, they showed us the finalized, our latest architectural layout and drawing, and it was new and improved, and this sneak peek, if you want to review that online, you can go online to see the meeting, but they added awnings for enhanced aesthetics and additional shade on the side and on the front, and it really makes it look better than a box. I'm always for awnings, a pro awning. Yes, I am for awnings. If anybody has any questions for them.
Shade, more
Not
shade.
against them. Potential new windows, I'm for them as well, to create a stronger connection to the firehouse. So the coloring and the color of it, or whatever they're doing on it, with some sort of siding, yeah, it connects to the firehouse. It looks really nice. It's a brown kind of brick color. And so then they discussed, you know, relocating the farmer's market to the upper level of the east parking deck, as you got that report from Christy. The return of the summer season is coming, and with that, you've got your parklets, also known as outdoor dining platforms. Downtown Rochester is going to be clean and sparkly with some rehabbing, which is repairing up to 50 lights, rehabilitating fence posts around the plantings, those little iron works, updating 23 signs, cleaning 39 signs, and they're painting the electrical boxes. So, you know, a lot of things take to keep the downtown looking good, a lot of work. There, also, we talked about the Love Local Art Program. There's a lot of art going on in downtown, and they wanted to consolidate it and have a master art plan in the works, so to establish a coordinated and consistent citywide art strategy, because we have deck art coming. I don't know if that has anything. Well, they have no filter camera. They have the Huntington Bank mural. That was a new thing that new idea that they spoke about, which is on the farmer's market where that big, nice concrete wall is. And when you're an artist, that is a surface to paint on. That's a canvas, right. Walkway enhancements, they spoke about exploring public art inspirations from Boston and utility boxes in Milwaukee and Cincinnati. So the team at DDA does a lot of exploration and research for what other cities do. And what they want to do, make it citywide, they want to partner with City Beautiful and Love Local Art Committee that they have to really kind of get both sides, city and DDA, involved. They talked about also replacing the the planters that are, they're like, I'm not sure you call them planters, maybe you do, they're really, really, really large, maybe you call them gigantic planters, but they're gonna have new narrower ones, and they've already picked them out, so they'll be new as well. So, one more thing, we got some key events coming up. Well, one, Oakland County Summit and Main Street Conference for Main Street Communities. It's the 4th annual, and the nice thing about it is anyone's invited, not besides city council, but volunteers and people who live in the community can come on, they can sign up on Main Street, Oakland County's website on March 20, it's from our March 20th, 8:30 to 11:30, and it's in the Oakland County Executive Building in the conference room, and you can bring your ideas in here, and they do a presentation as well. And I think they feed you, you know. So, you know, that's always a reason to go, right? So then, last but not least, Foodie, this is the final week for Foodie February. So you can, if you go out and dine in downtown Rochester, you can submit your receipt just by texting a photo to 866-603-4005, and there are prizes from $500, $250, and $100. Sorry that was so long, but they're really busy, and, you know, summer's coming up, and they're going to even be busier. Oh, and the deck art has having its 5th, is coming up again as well. And then at Paint Creek Center for the Arts, they're going to have a deck art exhibition there featuring 30 decks. So it's, you know, skate park time.
Yeah.
Excellent. Lots happening.
That's
Lots
a
of
lot.
exciting things happening, and council
take a
will
nap.
have more discussion regarding the DDA budget at an upcoming meeting. The DDA is continuing to work on their budget. They have a subcommittee working on that as well, so more discussion around the numbers for the DDA. I'm going to take any other public comment. Anyone here tonight that would like to make a public comment? Brian, anyone online who would like to make a public comment?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm not seeing any hands raised.
Looks like we have Bob DiTomaso.
Yes, 426 West University. I just have a question. Is it possible to get an update on Solaronics at all? Do we know what's happening?
I'm gonna say no at this point. I can talk to you, but I don't wanna say on the record.
Okay.
They haven't cleared us to say anything officially yet, so.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. City Attorney?
May I go first? So just to clarify on the Compensation Commission, because I think I misspoke at the end when I said that the status quo stays. There was not a motion to reject the Compensation Commission's determination. So I said status quo, but that's not right. Since it was not rejected, the Compensation Commission's decision
Stands.
I just want to make sure that
That was not clear.
yes,
That's the opposite of how we voted.
so you would have had to have made a motion to reject the determination passed by 5 of 6. And I don't think that step took place. So if city council wants to reject what the Compensation Commission did, you would need to have a motion that passed by 5.
That passed by 5.
Because it's a 2/3
Because it's a
vote.
rejection.
And 2/3 is
It
7.
has to be a 2/3.
4 is 2/3 to 6.
Yeah.
It's a 7. You have 7 city council members.
So we should never even had this vote. I mean, if we don't have
We
7.
don't have all 7 here. Why are we voting?
You don't need 7 here. You need 5 to reject it. And you have 6.
6, yeah.
You have 5 of 6,
And we had to meet within 30 days.
right?
I love the 6. It's
That's by
2/3.
state statute and your ordinance, is the 2/3 vote requirement.
So it's different depending on what we're voting on. The 2/3 compared to the,
Absolutely. So that's why I asked for clarification before we did the vote as to how the vote would be handled on this, because I knew this was a very unique situation.
That's right.
okay, I think it needs to be explained again, please.
So, right now, there was a motion to not reject that failed, okay? So if nothing else happens, the Compensation Commission's determination goes into place, because you don't have to take action to approve what they did. The only action you would take to make that stop is to reject what they did. So if city council wants to not have what the compensation commission did take place, you would have to make a motion to reject their determination. And that would have to pass by at least 5 of 6 tonight.
Because it's two-thirds.
Correct.
Two-thirds, okay.
Unfortunately,
So we had a motion, we had discussion, and we had a vote on it.
Well, you can always revote.
And so we've clarified that, so.
You can make a motion now if you want.
Right, so I'm sensing I hear some, discussion here, so if council would like to have further deliberation, we have an opportunity here if someone would like to make a motion.
What difference does it make? So,
I'll make a motion to reject it.
Okay, so we have a motion by Mayor Pro Tem to reject. Do we have a support? Support by Jones. Okay, so to be clear, to vote yes on this, you are rejecting what the compensation committee recommended, and we need 5 yes votes to stick with our current compensation structure.
Correct.
And we cannot revisit this for 2 years.
Okay.
And if it fails, whatever's in place stays in place.
No,
No.
because you have not rejected it at that point.
oh my,
So
this
it's
is
the-
very confusing.
So the determination of the compensation commission stands.
Yeah, because,
So-
right.
So the ordinance is written in favor of the compensation committee. Like, let's be clear. It takes a majority of vote. It takes 5 yeses to stick with the current structure. So we have a motion, we have a second.
So I
Any other questions on this motion?
Yes.
Any other discussions on this motion?
So,
confused
to
on the
clarify
vote
that,
here.
what we're saying then is to stop paying us if we accept this 5 of 6.
No, it stays
Just not the increase.
not the increase. If you don't want to increase, you say yes.
Thank you for saying it like that. We just needed some plain language. Yes.
Everybody good? Everybody good?
Yes.
We ready for a roll call? City clerk?
Salvia,
No.
Vixen,
Yes.
Jones,
Yes.
King,
No.
Sage,
Yes.
Trent.
No.
So motion fails.
Correct,
So we continue with the Compensation Commission's recommendation,
correct.
which is why I voted yes. I feel like we asked these people to do a job. I'm going to take their input. I may or may not agree with what they recommended. I may have wanted something different, something more, something less, but I'm going to go with what they recommended. Mayor Pro Tem?
And I just say the opposite. Just because they recommended it, doesn't mean I have to accept it.
Okay. All right. Thank you, City Attorney. Thank you for bringing that back.
I think that was,
So clear. It was clear as mud, right?
sorry for the sidebar, but the 3 of us were like, something was missing. So thank you for
Yeah.
indulging that.
Yeah, it is written in a very, I'll say, confusing manner.
Correct.
That is for sure.
Confusing. I was
Yep.
confused. I thought we'd it had been rejected.
All right, so, let's see, who else? City clerk, what do you have for us tonight?
Starting next week, we'll be advertising for the boards and commissions for the annual appointments. So we'll advertise for 30 days through the month of March. Everything we get in, we'll forward to you at the beginning of April, so you have 30 days before you make your nominations at the first meeting in May. So there's that process. I will be updating the list. Mayor and I met this last Friday to go over everything, and then I'll send that out to all of you so you have the current up-to-date list so that you can encourage people to reapply. And we also do automatically send out a request to those people whose terms are expiring this year for them to submit an application. And we updated the application on the website, so now it's fillable on the website. You hit submit, and it comes directly via the website to our emails.
Thank you.
That's all, thank you.
That's exciting. And any other updates or any other discussion that council wants to have, if maybe we can have a placeholder on the next March City Council meeting, just to maybe just run through the different boards and commissions.
Okay.
That'd be great. city attorney, not city attorney, I keep skipping the city manager.
It's okay.
Are you back
I'm
from
back.
vacation?
I'm back.
Okay.
Kim wanted me to thank you guys. Thank you, everybody, staff. Everybody was very respectful. I could keep up, obviously, with the email and stuff, but you guys let us have a lot of peace. Appreciate that. It was wonderful. So, and then I want to thank DPW, everybody. We left on that Saturday. I have no idea how we got out of here, but we did. But they killed it on the roads. They did a really good job through that whole process over the whole weekend. We stepped up the politeness a little bit because we had a lot more than normal slackers on clearing sidewalks. I know a few of you mentioned it. So we had gone out Friday initially, and part of Jeremy's new getting into code enforcement, he was part of that whole process. So he got indoctrinated quickly into the snow part of code enforcement in the winter, which is you have 24 hours to clear your sidewalk, keep it free of ice and snow. If you have a problem and you can't, let us know, and we possibly can work something out with you. If not, we're going to do it, and you're going to get charged for it. So I think they had to hit 54 people before the second snow, gave them till Monday to clear. If they didn't, we went back out, and they had a robust go around again with people. Some people arguing about, why do I have to do this? That's an ordinance, and you see people walking up and down. So the first time in years, we've really had to get a little strong with people because a lot of people got lazy this time. So I was out of town, and I had somebody do it for me just to make sure I didn't want to get a ticket. So, wherever.
Yeah, that's interesting, that why the change?
We don't know.
Business owners?
People are actually arguing with them out there, like, and even I think we had to do 53, we're going to tow your car tickets because we got out on everything. Most people, 99% of people didn't put their car where they shouldn't have. And the ones that did caused a huge problem. Then they were calling, complaining they couldn't get out because we plowed them in. It's like,
We sent out the text alert?
Yep, we did everything. We hit
Okay.
papers, text alerts 3 times, so we did all we could. So it went better, the car part went way better Sunday. So that must have, people got the message, I think. So I thank DPW and the police and everybody for doing that. Anthony, I, and Marcy, and Jason, we call him, met today with Standard & Poor's. So for me, it's one of my favorite meetings to have. It's when they rate you, see about your AAA rating. Again, elite group to have a city with AAA. We don't take it for granted that that's going to happen again. They don't take it for granted. So 2 guys from New York said they gave us a list to study for the week. We're going to ask you all of this, and they know how this goes. I did it in my former. I get to go first. So I get 45 minutes to just blast them with everything. And they said, we're from New York, you can talk fast. So blaze right through it. Everything from industrial, light industrial, master plan, every development, small, large, whatever, and just watch them smile is pretty neat. It was awesome. And he was so happy because this Friday, Stephen and James take their version of what they come up with to that board to make the decisions that quick. So we have to give them supporting documentation so they know I'm not just telling a story. The thing that I do on the website now helps them. They can physically see the things that are going on in town. And then we send back up every little detail from brownfields to demolitions to property values to additions to building fees. They get all loaded up and you watch them just rip and take notes. So it was an awesome meeting. So he smiled and like, we're good. So that was awesome. So I think you guys will be very happy. If we knew in time for Friday morning, we'll see. He's going to send us his report Thursday night. So we'll see. So maybe we'll do that one on the fly if we can. So Anthony and I are meeting with the library board Thursday night to go over the next steps of what we want and asking them. So that will be taken care of. And let's see. Oh, I wish I could formally say this, but we got another step forward to another big chunk of money for the trail. So and as soon as they say we can say who they are, which could be within a matter of days now, it'll be 3 of them now, big chunks of money. So we're feeling really good about covering our debt on that portion of the trail, really good. Again, Kristen and the county, we're all turning over rocks, a seal, everybody, so it's looking pretty good. So if we know that by Friday, we're gonna let you know. So, and Friday again, Bruce coming to the Outlook breakfast. We'll be glad, looking forward to seeing you all there. So that's a good day for Rochester. So that's it.
Now, city attorney, anything else?
Nothing further, thank you.
Counselor King.
There was a RARA board meeting past week. I unfortunately was not able to make it, so I'll have an update on RARA at the next, after the next one. And then I just had one question for city manager. Have we had any update on the Shelby Water Authority where
Yep, so
things are?
they, in about 3 seconds, gritted their teeth and accepted our offer. So it
Good.
stood at, they didn't like it, but they accepted it. So there was some rumbling, but they didn't say anything bad about us. It's like, here's our offer, take it or leave it. They took it. So we're all set.
Is that where we're gonna, it's reduced over, or it's paid over time?
5 years, I think. Yeah.
And so that has been in
6
the,
years, was it 6?
that's what we've had in the budget model?
Yes,
Or is
correct.
that good news to the budget model?
That's what was in the budget model.
Okay.
But the fact that we got to delay it, we got interest on the money that we didn't have to pay them up front. So that's a good thing.
Yep. Okay, excellent.
Thanks for asking.
Yep. Mayor Pro Tem
Yeah, I
Vixen?
just want to thank the police department for this report. It's a lot of good information. I think the previous chief started it. And my question is there a way to put this online possibly for
Yep.
citizens to look at? Because it has a lot of information that really shows what our police do, but too how safe our city really is.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Counselor Sage?
Nothing this evening.
Jones?
Just a couple thank yous. I was gonna thank for snow removal also. I live on 7th Street, and I do have some neighbors that don't move their car. Boy, those plows come down, and it's like, so sorry. So I'm glad you said something about that in the sidewalks too. I'm a big walker, as you guys know, and so I'm glad you're on top of all of that. And also, thanks, Nick, for we're Tree City USA again. And you do a lot to make that happen, so you're very appreciated and thank you. And I'm really proud to talk about that with people, how important trees are to Rochester. So
No, I appreciate
thanks
that.
for all you do for that.
How many years in a row are we?
13.
That's really due to a lot of work to get something like that done, so thank you. And then to the chief, he did a parking meeting at the Roxy. So it went really well. There was 3 of us, council people, went to that. And lots of information, things I didn't know, which is great. I think it would be great if you could also post his stats, because some of them were unbelievable, as far as tickets and cars and all that good stuff, so, and what they do. And then I attended a Zoom call that was Oakland County Regional Housing Partnerships. And it was super interesting about zoning changes and housing tax credits and such for obtainable housing. So it was very interesting. I'm glad I attended that.
Thank you. Counselor Trent?
Just a couple of things. Mayor Salvia has agreed to approve the participation of the city of Rochester in the 2025 Mayor's Monarch Pledge. So Rochester Pollinators and City of Beautiful Commission will be back at working on those 24 goals and programs that we do.
So should you include the picture of me with my monarch pollinator tree in my office in that? That is still there?
Yes, we
Okay.
will. We'll
All right.
send it over to National Wildlife Federation. And apply for the- when
I
we
educate
apply.
people every day on pollinators.
I know, you're a great advocate. We have advocates, and we love our advocates for saving our pollinators and monarch butterfly. So I just want to give a shout out for our community nonprofits. One of them was Paint Creek Center for the Arts. I love art, and that's my major, and so I got to do metalsmithing on Saturday, so I made 2 rings. So it was quite fun and really enjoyed myself in the evening. And anybody want to try some of those workshops, it's just a lovely, lovely time. And men can come as well. There was one gentleman who came with his girlfriend, so maybe he was trying to impress her. And he impressed us all. But there was like 16 people there. And I wanted to give that shout out. And you can go online at Paint Creek Center's, I think it's pcca.org. Don't quote me on that, to see what they have available. And then on Friday evening, I was at the Van Heusen Calf Barn, Hills Museum Calf Barn, and I saw Food Inc. 2. Wasn't completely depressing. It was very good, and that's part of their film festival, February. So I really appreciate him doing that, and Pat McKay and his team. And then the final film will be The Biggest Little Farm on the 28th at 7 p.m. So that's my plug.
Thank you. I love their series this year.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
went to
I
one.
went to one as well. They're great. They're great. Before I go, Nick, not to put you on the spot, but anything from the DPW director? we're happy you're here, and you guys did do a great job on the snow on Saturday. Normally, there's still mounds in the center, and they were all cleared away, so tell the team they did a great job. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. And thank you again to the chief for the parking meeting. It was informative. We learned things. I met some new business owners, so that was great. And get ready to laugh at the Community Outlook event Friday morning. It's an SNL theme, and we're just going to have a good informational meeting with some laughs too. So with that, meeting adjourned. 1 hour, yes.